Alright, hello everybody. Currently, this is the radar picture as of around 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. As you can see here, we have a massive MCS developing, which may become a derecho and slide throughout central Oklahoma into southern Kansas. Currently, we have a 100-mile-per-hour severe warning that did just get issued. Oh, that's for 70, yes. 100-mile-per-hour warning, bang. It's issued for the Forgan area, Beaver area, Flores area, and Oklahoma. So major wind gusts are expected with this, and possibly even a tornado as well within this area north of Flores. Large hail is also going to be a possibility. We're also watching some other severe storms up in Nebraska and South Dakota, one of which has produced a funnel cloud there, southeast of Rapid City. Here's our Nebraska severe storm. It's kind of weakened a little bit. Not really got as much juice with it anymore. And then once the radar loads here, we'll talk about the South Dakota storms. This is the storm that may produce a tornado soon. We'll see. Well, we're going to go into Google Chrome and kind of talk about this. So currently we have a severe thunderstorm watch that just got issued for Oklahoma, suggesting winds to 60 or scattered gusts up to 100 mile per hour are likely. Now, given that this is a 90/80 watch, usually these would be a PDS, but this one isn't for some reason, and I don't know why. Looking onto the SBC page in general, active day. We'll go to the report map and show you here. We had an MCS earlier this morning that tracked from Kansas, Oklahoma into Mississippi, Louisiana. We had severe weather ongoing in the Northeast today and across northern Florida as well. We've also had very large hail and significant gusts with the impending derecho from New Mexico into the Oklahoma Panhandle, and very large hail into the Nebraska area. So lots of stuff has happened. Yesterday, we had a tornado, a few tornadoes happened in Nebraska and Wyoming with widespread severe weather along the East Coast. Right now, we're going to look at mesoscale analysis, and as you can see, this is pretty clear-cut derecho status. You have a Boeing segment about to move southeast like this. It'll probably eventually take an eastern turn and ride the instability gradient. If we go to theta E advection, you can see the instability gradient is here. So this is eventually going to take a southward turn probably once we get toward here and drop south. It'll probably hit the OKC metro as well given its current trajectory. Lots of instability ahead of this, 4,000 to 5,000 joules per kilogram of mixed layer cape. It's expected to stay around the 4,000 realm, mixed layer cape wise. And yeah, this thing is going to travel probably into Arkansas or northeast, yeah, probably Arkansas. It's basically riding this wave of energy here. It's probably going to dip south and do one of these numbers probably. That's what it's going to do. We have some strong storm relative velocity values, but the LCL heights are not the most favorable for tornadoes. But of course, since this is a MCS system, don't need as much of that, and the northern end of it is on the nose of the low-level jet, so we probably will have a pretty solid tornado risk. Surface observations also yield 90 on 77 ahead of this complex of storms. Surface vorticity in 3 Cape, lots of surface vorticity, not so much 3 Cape. 0 to 500 kilometer or meter SRH is rather high too, so definitely going to have increased potential for that. And then D Cape is quite high too, so damaging winds are going to be likely. Looking into some observed soundings here. Here's the Dodge City sounding. There is a little bit of a stable layer, but usually MCSs like this don't care too much about a stable layer, especially if the rest of the profile is moist. Now, that's a little bit of a different story for the OUN profile, but there is extreme amounts of instability, really above 3 kilometers here. And we do still have solid deep layer shear, which is going to kind of go into MCS maintenance. Going back to mesoscale analysis, I believe it's in the multi-field parameters. No, it's in composite indices. MCS maintenance is pretty much maxed out across Oklahoma. So this MCS will probably maintain itself. Along with that, the Derecho composite is quite high as well, so probably all the parameters are there for a Derecho this evening. Now, I will briefly talk about some other severe weather setups as well. Why don't we go to the Storm Prediction Center's page and kind of talk about it? So, tomorrow across the Midwest, there's going to be potential for severe weather in Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, and into Illinois, Indiana. This potential may be negated by smoke, though. Still, we'll have a brief tornado chance as well, damaging winds, and very large hail chance. Day 3, another MCS/derecho solution seems possible. Stuff is likely going to initiate in 2 different spots, here and here, and maybe a little bit somewhere else too. So we could have multiple MCSs really track southeastward. Tornadoes, significant wind gusts, and very large hail will be possibilities. Moving into the GEFS here, I'm kind of going throughout a broad kind of spectrum with the pattern here. So for Thursday, the MCS/derecho track will probably be from southeast Iowa and Missouri into this general region. So in there is probably going to be the track. Ensemble winds, a lot of them agree with central Illinois really being the focal point. Quite high instability as well. If we zoom into the Midwest area, we are expecting instability values to be 4,000 plus joules per kilogram. This is aiding in high-end supercell composite parameters of 7 plus, or no, that's 5 plus, right? 7 plus in the red, 4 plus in the orange. So rather high amounts of supercell composite are likely. And then as we get into Friday, another significant severe weather days possible with another long-tracked intense MCS. This time, the MCS is probably going to be a little bit further to the, oh wait, I didn't mean to take a screenshot. A similar area, probably this time though from Kansas, Missouri maybe, all the way into that general area. So a little bit further to the south this time. Again, rather extreme amounts of instability are expected, anywhere between 3,000 and 5,000 joules per kilogram of surface-based CAPE is depicted here. So another big-time MCS setup. And then as we get into Saturday, predictability is going to become lower, but there probably will still be potential for severe weather anywhere from the Ozarks into the Mid-Atlantic. Probably either late tonight or tomorrow when I wake up, I will have a more advanced video covering the potential for severe weather, but we will kind of go a little bit into a little bit of a dive into it here. So we're likely going to see MCS develop in a couple different spots, but it'll probably be supercellular initially in central Illinois, and it'll dive southeastward. There'll probably be supercells that'll form in Wyoming and Colorado, and they'll move eastward as well. Going into the Illinois setup here, the RAP has very high moisture values, and as you look a little bit south of that boundary there, pretty clear-cut environment for tornadoes is actually going to exist with some low-level curvature, so initial supercells are likely. Very large hail is going to be a possibility due to these longer and more straight hodographs, along with this extreme instability. We'll probably have storms towering 60 to 70,000 feet. Instability values are 4,500 joules per kilogram mixed layer-wise on the RAP, although that might be a little bit overdone. I do expect this to move a little bit further to the northwest, as the RAP/HRRR can be a bit too fast sometimes with these systems. RAP does have 4,000 to 5,000 joules per kilogram of instability. If we take a box sounding here, this is a high-end profile for an MCS/derecho setup that is initially supercellular with tornado and very large hail threat. As we can see here, composite indices are really maxed out across this area in Indiana, Illinois, Kentucky, with a rather favorable area for all hazards of severe weather. What will probably happen is that we'll probably see a couple different areas of storms initiate. We can see there is some sort of maybe a little, don't really see any major short waves here on the map. Maybe a tinier one here, which that may spark some storms as we get into the evening hours. Looking into the NAM is actually very similar to the RAP. has that intense shortwave over Illinois with a very similar surface pattern, so we probably will see a similar solution to the wrap, like the NAM has. Probably going to have high-end supercells initially across Illinois, Indiana. They will move southeastward and probably turn into a derecho. And this is exactly what the 18Z NAM shows. It has supercells initiating in north central Illinois. I will be chasing this event, so I will be also live streaming this on YouTube. So if you want to follow me, during the chase, just subscribe to my channel. I will have a live stream up. As we can see here, the NAM really develops a more major cold pull as we get later into the night, and this complex of storms really starts to strengthen. It's riding that instability gradient. It will be some sort of significant tornado potential if storms do stay discrete, given this photograph profile, and they very well might. If the NAM is actually correct, this could turn into more of a supercell event. We really won't know what this will be, but it's looking likely that we'll either have a high-end supercell or high-end derecho event. And the NAM moves that off to the southeastward with another derecho that develops. There's going to be potential for another derecho that develops out in the plains the previous day, and this will continue into Illinois. Again, rather significant cold pool. Dew points really changing about 12 degrees, and then temperatures changing about 15 plus degrees, so rather substantial cold pool. This is going to really create a high-end threat for severe weather, given there's extreme instability ahead of the squall line, and the NAM really continues this thing for a while. It continues all the way into Indiana, and that slides into Kentucky, so there's potential that Illinois could get hit by two different significant severe weather systems back to back, and this MCS continues all the way to the coast, which remains a possibility. And then more development occurs overnight across Illinois, reoccurring the cycle. And this is called the Ring of Fire pattern. And we can easily see this based off the 500 millibar flow. This is a classic Ring of Fire pattern look with different shortwave impulses, and we can kind of get this look here. As we can see, one shortwave impulse here for the first derecho, another one for the second one. There she is. See it, 21Z, really be good. And that could be a supercell day too, not just a derecho day. And then that slides off to the southeast, a new one right here for the next one. And then the process continues, another one back here for the next one. It's just going to be a reoccurring process, and several areas are probably going to hit multiple times. Alright, that's going to do it for this video though. Thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe and comment so this video can get noted to people, and we'll see you in the next one.